to give me a little bit of a focus. And so she sent me this phrase, or sentence rather, that I thought really summed it up so well, so I was actually going to include it in the presentation. Students' growth in their use of proportional reasoning signals development in their thinking that suggests a possible readiness for symbolic reasoning in comprehension of systematic covariation found in many functions. And I think that's really it in a nutshell, so to speak, because once students start seeing these relationships between numbers, that's when we're really getting them thinking about number sense and preparing them for functions and all those kinds of things. And it's not always easy for our students to see these relationships because, as the other people have said so far, we get so focused on having our students find the right answer, right? Don't you have that students where they're like just plugging the numbers in their calculator? Is this the answer? Is this the answer? You know, and they have a lot of times there's no number sense as to like should it be a larger number, a smaller number, like you know what are we looking for? What does this answer make sense to us? And so it's this beginning of this higher level thinking where they start to see this relationship forming. And one way that we see it is in an input and an output table. You know, the x, y, when we start doing graphing on a coordinate plane, and that they have to figure out what's the rule, how do we get from x to y, things like that.
I apologize.
That's okay, I just noticed that.
Yes.
No worries.
An input-output table where we record each iteration of the change systematically.
Right, and you know how that our students can do that so well sometimes. You know, we teach them, we say, okay, you know, the x's are going up by 1, the y's are doubling, so what's the rule? X, and then 2x, right? Something like that. But when the problems become more challenging and there's not that linear relationship between the numbers, that's where we lose a lot of them, right? Have you not all seen that? If it's not really concrete and really direct for them, they're not going to make that connection. And so this comes up in Common Core in middle school, the proportional reasoning. And in middle school, their development is so various, right? Some students are such concrete thinkers still, while other students are starting to make that general growth to more abstract thinking. And so this is a challenging topic to start teaching at this grade level because you have such a variety of their cognitive ability. And so I feel like as teachers, what we really need to do is take them where they're at and bring them along the spectrum. And so what I've included are some of the resources that we've talked about for PBL learning and also for illustrative math that Alistair talked about yesterday, because there's a variety of problem-based real-world problems there that sometimes make it easier for students to draw those conclusions from real-world applications. So I wanted to show you some of these. This is the illustrative math that Alistair talked about, and if you go to this website, this isn't linked, so it's going to oh, that's okay. If you go to the website and you click on 7th grade, this is actually what the Common Core standard shows for proportional reasoning. It comes up in 7th grade. 6th grade is more about ratios. 7th grade starts to get into the proportions. And they talk about analyzing these proportional relationships and using them to solve real-world problems. And if you did get an opportunity to explore the site yesterday, there are such great resources here. So if you click on the See Illustrations link, they give you example problems that you could actually do with your students specific for each of these particular Common Core standards. And then they divide that broader standard into substandards, doing ratios of proportions, proportional relationships between quantities, and then they start getting into the actual graphing and how you can see the relationship with the slope of a line. Is it 1 to 1? Is it, you know, positive slope, negative slope? And these are the important concepts that students need. They really have to have a strong foundation in these before we can move on into the high school math where we are actually solving functions and doing those kinds of things. So I know some teachers here are middle school and some are high school, so it really is appropriate for both, because if they get to high school and they were one of those students with their calculator out just trying to figure out if X is this, Y is this, and they are not getting that larger concept, they're going to have to go back a little bit and kind of fill that in so that then they can move forward and be successful with a higher level math. This is another website that I found that has a lot of PBL. I know you're going to be working on your PBL project, so I want to give you a couple resources. It's West Virginia, and if you click on the link, there's actually the opportunity for you to search by subject, grade level, things like that, and there are a lot of examples there for projects that have been done. And also this website.
Can you go back for just a second?
Oh, sure, sorry. It's,
I have it on my webpage for the MCLN.
oh, okay.
Thank you.
I have
Great.
it right to West Virginia, so you can either write it down or I have a link on the site. I'm
Okay.
giving everyone today.
Perfect.
Regional folks have them already.
Oh, great minds, right?
Yeah, well, they do a lot of very interesting things for teachers in their state anyway.
Right.
Which is lovely, so this is the only.
They're very
great
forward
stuff that
thinking
they
in their
have.
planning. Yeah. This is a great one. And also, so three that I found so far that I thought were a plethora of resources. The illustrative math, this one, and then this BIE.org. Similarly, they also have the opportunity where you can actually search here by subject and grade level and things like that. And then there are actually a whole bunch of examples there that you can actually take a look at that are really helpful. And I think that's it.
Thank you very much.